speaking again. "Johnny, is that you?" A growl was his answer. A growl and a mindless, vicious lunge. Ben acted instinctively, jumping back while slashing his sword ahead of him. The move kept him out of the zombie's reach, even as the creature took damage. At melee range, by the light of the moon, he could clearly see that this was not the zombie he was looking for, which was lucky for him, actually. He was supposed to keep Johnny safe, not hit him with a sword. This zombie, however, he could fight to his heart's content. Ben lunged, slashed, then stepped back, careful to always stay out of the mob's reach. After avoiding trouble for so long, it felt good to let loose. But he was rusty. Ben misjudged the timing of his final lunge, and the zombie's clawed swipe struck him in the chest. Ben stumbled back. Even through his chest plate, he felt a flare of pain. "So rude," he said, slashing out with his sword. The zombie collapsed, defeated, and left behind a scrap of rotten flesh. Ben knew it was edible, and his food supplies were running low. But he wasn't that desperate. Not yet. Nearby, another groan sounded. It was just as he'd feared. The battle had drawn unwanted attention. Ben whirled around, sword raised, and just barely stopped himself in time. "Johnny," he said, "I nearly cut you in half. Bad baby." The mob standing before him was, in fact, a baby, but not a typical one. Johnny had been attacked during a zombie siege and transformed into one of the undead. His skin was green. His eyes shone red beneath a heavy black brow, and his clothes were dirty and tattered. He also wore a lead, which Ben reached for immediately. Johnny growled and snapped at Ben's hand. "Hey, no," said Ben. "Just because your sister isn't here doesn't mean it's back to bitey-bitey. Behave yourself." Johnny growled again, but it was a low, quiet growl that sounded to Ben almost like an apology. Or maybe a growl was just a growl, and Ben had been spending far too much time in the company of zombies. Ben had encountered plenty of zombie villagers before, and those encounters usually ended in a fight, one that only Ben walked away from. But a strange and special bond had developed between him and Johnny. It helped that Johnny's big sister, Bobbie, had somehow been able to teach him basic manners. When they first met, Bobbie had hired Ben to help her find a cure for her brother's condition. But they'd become separated, and the last thing Bobbie had said to Ben was that it was his responsibility to keep her brother safe. Ben liked responsibility about as much as zombies liked sunlight. Which reminded him. "We need to go back home," Ben said, and this time he grabbed Johnny's lead without any complaint from the young zombie. "The sun will be up soon, so unless you want to wear your special hat..." Ben held out a carved pumpkin. When worn as a helmet, it kept Johnny protected from the sunlight. But the baby absolutely hated wearing it. As soon as he saw it, he growled and grumbled, pulling on the lead as if trying to get away. "Okay, I'm putting it back in my inventory," said Ben. "But that means we need to go back to the house right now. Bobbie will never find us if we stray too far, and she'll definitely never forgive me if you catch fire. I might feel a little bad about it, too." At the mention of his sister's name, Johnny emitted a low, mournful growl. He pulled again at his lead, but softly this time. He wasn't trying to escape Ben's grasp. He was trying to lead him